You want to enter flow. You clear your desk and silence every notification. You set a timer and promise yourself 2 hours of pure focus. Then you sit there, waiting for something that never arrives. Your mind feels heavy, not sharp. The harder you push, the further flow seems to drift away. You blame your willpower, your sleep, your discipline. But none of those are the real problem. The truth is that flow cannot be forced into existence. And the moment you try, you guarantee it will not come. Most people misunderstand what flow actually is. They treat it like a switch they can flip on demand. They read articles promising peak performance through perfect routines. They buy noise-canceling headphones and expensive focus apps. Then they wonder why nothing works. They are using the right tools with the wrong mental model. Flow is not a state you produce. It is a state your nervous system permits. That distinction sounds small. In practice, it changes everything about how you approach focus. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi coined the term flow in the 1970s. He studied artists who lost themselves in their work for hours. He did not find people forcing themselves into the zone. He found people who had quietly created the conditions for it. Conditions, not commands. That single word reframes your entire relationship with deep work. But there is something even more surprising about this pattern. The brain treats forced effort as a low-level threat. Cortisol rises. Attention narrows in the wrong way. You become hyper-aware of your own struggle. You watch yourself trying to focus instead of focusing. This is called meta-attention. It is the silent killer of flow. Neuroscience has begun mapping what actually happens during deep work. Brain scans show reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex. That sounds counterintuitive. The thinking part of the brain quiets down during true flow. The self-monitoring system goes offline. The inner critic stops narrating your every move. This is why flow feels like disappearing. You are not gone. You are simply not watching yourself anymore. When you try to force flow, you do the opposite. You activate the inner watcher with every check of the clock. You ask yourself, am I in flow yet? The question itself prevents the answer. This is the part most productivity advice never mentions. True flow has 3 precise ingredients: a clear goal, immediate feedback, a challenge slightly above your current skill. Notice what is missing from that list: motivation, discipline, caffeine, morning routines. None of those produce flow. They might help you sit down. They cannot carry you in. Most people think becoming an heir looks dramatic. They imagine champagne, luxury cars, massive houses. The task is too easy, so they get bored, or far too hard, so they freeze in place. Then they wonder why their mind keeps drifting away. The drift is information, not failure. It is telling you the conditions are wrong. Adjust the conditions, and flow finds you on its own. Picture this. You're working on something important and your mind keeps slipping sideways. Instead of fighting harder, you pause. You ask one question: is this task actually clear enough? Often it is not. You are trying to focus on a fog. Define the next concrete step first. Suddenly the fog has edges. The brain knows where to point itself. Focus stabilizes on its own. Feedback is the second hidden ingredient. Your brain needs to know if it is winning or losing. When you write, the words on the page give feedback. When you build, the structure rises in front of you. But when you plan, when you strategize, when you think abstractly, feedback disappears. So does flow. This is why deep work feels easier in writing than in planning. The medium gives the brain what it needs. What neuroscience discovered next changes everything about how we train focus. Flow has a warm-up period. It is roughly 15 to 20 minutes long. There is no shortcut. During this window, the brain transitions from scattered network mode into focused single-task mode. It feels like slogging through mud. Most people quit during these minutes. They imagine champagne, luxury cars, massive house of Hain, the massive house of fake motivation. The resistance is the doorway, not the wall. It always feels like the wall on first approach. If you can stay in your chair through the mud, the ground hardens. The work begins to pull you forward. Forcing flow means trying to skip the mud entirely. It cannot be skipped, only walked through. Comment, which part of the warm-up trips you up most? The first 5 minutes, the phone urge, the blank page. If this resonates with you, drop a single word, through. It marks you as someone willing to walk through the mud. Now let us return to the deeper mechanics, because there is far more happening beneath the surface. If you have experienced the forcing trap, you are not alone, and you are not broken. The forcing trap exists because our culture worships output above all. Every pro-tipty guru sells intensity. Grind harder. Push through. Dominate your morning. The language is military, not biological in nature. Your brain is not a machine to be commanded. It is an animal to be patiently invited. This reframe sounds soft. It is actually the most rigorous mental model available to you. Animals do not respond to threats with creativity. They respond with vigilance, with contraction, with fight or flight. Force triggers the same response in your mind. Vigilance replaces creativity. Contraction replaces flow. The wise older approach is invitation. Set the table. Set it. See if the guest arrives. Sometimes the guest arrives in 5 minutes, sometimes in 20, sometimes not at all that day. The practitioners who experience flow most often are the ones who release the demand for it. They build a ritual. They begin. They let the work decide what happens next. This is not passivity. It is precision. They control inputs, not outcomes. What's coming next is the exact method that fixes this for good. The method has 4 parts. They are simple to understand. They are uncomfortable to apply. First, choose one task with a defined edge, not a project. A task with a finish line you can clearly see. Second, remove every alternative. Phone in another room. Tabs closed. Single document open in front of you. Third, sit down without expectation. You are not promising yourself flow. You are promising yourself presence. Fourth, work for 25 minutes minimum, regardless of how it feels. The feeling is unreliable. The clock is honest. Notice what is absent from this method. No music optimization. No supplements. No special chair. No morning routine. Those things are not wrong. They are just not the central lever. The lever is releasing the demand. This sounds like a small mental shift. In practice, it changes the texture of every working hour you live. Stay with me. This next part will explain something about your brain you have never been able to articulate. There is a paradox of the heart of focus. The more you want it, the less you tend to have it. This mirrors something ancient. The harder you grasp at sleep, the more it eludes you. The same is true of flow. Both states require the surrender of the controlling mind. Both punish demand. Both reward release. This is not mysticism. It is how the nervous system regulates itself. Demand activates sympathetic arousal. Flow requires parasympathetic permission. You cannot will your way past your own physiology. You can only stop fighting it and create the space. Once you understand this, your relationship with focus becomes calmer. You stop measuring every session as success or failure. You start measuring your conditions instead. Was the task clear? Was the environment quiet? Did I actually show up? Those questions are answerable. Did I achieve flow is not. Flow is a verdict the brain delivers in its own time. Some sessions will feel electric and effortless. Others will feel slow and ordinary. Both can produce excellent work. This is the part nobody tells you. Flow is not required for quality output. Effort plus presence is enough. The myth of flow has done quiet damage. People wait for it before they begin. They miss years of possible work. Begin without flow. Flow may join you later. If it does not, the work still moves forward anyway. The professionals you admire are not always in flow. They have simply stopped requiring it as the condition for starting. This shift is everything. It separates the working artist from the waiting artist. It separates the engineer who ships from the engineer who plans forever in private. It separates the writer with 20 published books from the writer with 20 private notebooks. Practice this for 1 week. Sit down to one defined task each day. Do not try to enter flow at all. Just begin. Just stay. Notice what happens when the demand is gone. Watch the work pull you forward in its own time. You will discover something strange. Flow visits more often when you stop chasing it, like a cat entering a quiet room. The room is your structure. The cat is your concentration. You cannot summon it. You can only create a place worth landing in. There's one final piece worth understanding deeply. Flow is not the only valuable mental state for deep work. There is also what researchers call grind state. Steady, unflashy, productive work without the high. It builds everything real. Most lasting careers are built in grind state, not flow state. Flow is the bonus, not the foundation. When you stop worshiping flow, grind becomes acceptable again. And grind, repeated daily, is what compounds into mastery. This reframe will save you years of quiet frustration. You will stop ending sessions disappointed because the magic did not arrive. You will start ending sessions satisfied because the work got done. That satisfaction is more reliable than any temporary high. There's a phrase worth holding on to here. Discipline is showing up. Flow is what sometimes shows up with you. Notice the order. Discipline first, flow second. Never the other way around in any sustainable practice. This is also why streaks matter more than sessions. One brilliant flow day cannot rescue a month of avoidance. But 30 retirement sessions, stacked in a row, will outperform almost any single inspired afternoon you have ever had. The brain rewards consistency with deeper access. Each repeated session lowers the activation cost of the next one. By week 3, sitting down feels lighter. By week 6, the warm-up shortens. By week 12, you no longer fear the chair. If you want to test this tonight, try one small experiment. Choose a single task. Set 25 minutes on a timer. Begin without judging the first 5 minutes. Walk through the mud. Note what quietly changes after minute 15. You may not find flow that night. You will find something more reliable. Steady forward motion that does not depend on a state. That is the real prize, not the high of flow. The trust that you can work regardless of how you feel. If this idea has shifted something in you, comment the word through below. Share which task you will sit with tomorrow. And if you found value here, subscribe to Fin Hours. Each video reveals one focused truth most people miss. Your attention is not a switch, it is a guest. Set the table well and learn to wait without waiting. That is the surprising truth about forced flow. It only arrives when you stop forcing it. Welcome to the path.